The gear I'm going to show you today almost got my pick of favorite of the year. And we'll discuss all that. Why it almost got my pick and why it didn't. And as you can see, we're going to be talking about 3 different products. The new Odin Andromeda Pro Mouse Pad, the new Vaxee Outset AX Wireless, and the new Lamzu Maya Wireless Mouse. So let's go ahead and start with the Andromeda Pro Mouse Pad from Odin Gaming. You all know I love Odin Gaming pads. I've praised them since day one. I absolutely love them. Now, talking about this pad, it's definitely reminiscent kind of the Saturn Pro from Lethal Gaming Gear. It is clear as day thicker. You can probably see it in the camera here. Let me get it up. Bam, just look at the black right there compared to the red. Definitely much thicker. Just pressing down on this, I gotta press pretty hard to get down to my desk. Over here on the Lethal Game one, I can slightly press, bam, and I'm right down to my desk. So if you're a firm presser, I think you will like this, which is what I really liked about the Odin Gaming one, is again with me using a bigger ergo mouse, pressing down harder. I just loved it. I always loved the density of the Odin Gaming, but I do main the Lethal Gaming Gear one. This is what's on my desk right now, and I really love it. Now, I'm not pressing so hard where I'm hitting the desk down there, but again, you can feel that slight bit of give. Over here, you can't. So I would say this is more or less like a medium density, when the Lethal one feels definitely a bit softer. Now, as far as stitching here, if you just want to compare one to one, you get that really thin, very tight stitching over here on the Lethal. Now, over here on the Odin one, you have very tight stitching. It is pretty thin, but you can see it's a little bit more bold than the Lethal one. And I can see some of my sides just fraying up already, which I doubt the camera can pick it up, but I already have some slight fraying on the side. But as far as core feel and glide on the Odin Andromeda, it feels just like the Saturn. It's very nice. It's not that real slow, muddy control, but you have a slight glide to it. It feels very natural. I just love it. Again, I say it over and over. Odin pads have been phenomenal for me. You got like that slight silky feel, just a very nice natural glide. So yeah, the Odin Andromeda was going to be my new main mouse pad, even though I prefer desk mats. I loved it that much. I was having such a good time with it. I wasn't even going to cover it. When Odin contacted me and said, hey, you want to cover a new pad? I'm like, nah, I don't really cover mouse pads anymore. Sounds sponsored or fluffy. How much I love Odin pads. Again, I just fell in love with this one. But unfortunately, right down here, you can actually see there's frays coming up in the pad. And I doubt the camera can even pick that up because, again, the glossiness, there you go, you can see it. Bam, it's right there. That little fray is driving me nuts. And I know what you're saying, like, dude, that's so small, who cares? Well, trust me, whenever you're gaming and you feel, and you're kind of gliding along and you feel that slight little bump, it is incredibly annoying. And for a premium pad, you don't want that. That's what made the Andromeda a no-go. So how about the Vaxee Outset AX here? This was the other one that was going to be product of the year, straight out the box. This thing just felt premium. Let me throw you some dimensions up here and you can just take a look at it. It is a bold mouse. A lot of you are familiar with this shape. They've had the wired one before, right? But now coming in wireless, we all love it. It is a bigger mouse. The ergo of it, it's definitely a bit more curved than we're used to right there. So even putting it in your hand, you feel it hitting your back or in the palm pretty much no matter where you go. It feels absolutely phenomenal in the hand. It really does, but it is a big ergo. They're crispy right to the point. The scroll wheel, feels so nice. But when I come over to the side buttons, which are super cool, I don't know if the camera can pick it up. They look black, but again, they are transparent. Super cool touch. I love that. Again, it's a bigger ergo mouse, so I think a lot of times you're going to be hitting the side button towards the back. And holy smokes, the backside of this side button just sinks into this shell a ridiculous amount, like inside the shell. I'm not sure how well that'll pick up. Now, if you're hitting it smack dab in the middle here, right by the split, yo, crispy and right to the point. Now, as far as the front one, it does it the same, but again, with it being a bigger ergo mouse, I never would touch that button in the front. I'd kind of hit that one right in the middle all the time, but the back one, sometimes I would come back here, like if I was flicking or dipping, getting real fast, I'd hit it back there, and it feels like mushy controller. That ruined this mouse for me. So can I say that's mild? And again, that'll differ person to person where you press them. I don't know, because again, you don't got much real estate for those side buttons to be pressing right. I think a lot of people might notice that, and that was a bummer. But I was still able to use this constantly, and I have been using it constantly. Am I going to main it? No, I'm not, because I don't want something that's really going to be nitpicking at me that I'm going to be maining. But I still give it the pass. I don't think that's deal breaking right there by any means. Kind of like a little pull in the mouse pad, which is deal breaking. And right along with this mouse, I love what they did. You don't need any soft or anything. Everything can be adjusted right on there. Now it's a little tricky. You got to like hold the power button or hold this button, flick the power button, then it blinks and stuff. Go watch the Vaxee video on that, but you can adjust everything right on the mouse. Now let me go and touch on this Lamzu Maya here. This was never going to be my product of the year or something I would main. As you all know, there's no denying this is too small for me, right? And when I put it in my hand, it's definitely too small. You might be thinking it's kind of like the Final Mouse ULX we just recently covered, but I'll tell you what, just putting this in the hand right here and then coming over to the Vaxee, that hump is definitely more prominent on the Vaxee, and you can probably see it right there. Just look at that hump and how it rolls off on the back. It's definitely more bold on the Lamzu than the ULX. And from my time with the ULX, then coming over to the Lamzu, I honestly had a better time with the Lamzu. And let me tell you what, talking about the buttons on the outset, these side buttons on the Vaxee or the Lamzu is incredibly just crispy, like holy smokes, and I don't have any mushiness. Same with the front ones. I would say the front ones, they feel really nice when you get to the top up here. But towards the middle, like, so if you're kind of clicking like this, they feel, I don't know, like you got to give them a little bit more if you're pressing up here. If you come up to the front, I really like how they feel like that. And of course, the scroll wheel feels amazing. And the really cool thing about this Lamzu Maya, as we've seen with all Lamzu products, I mean, they're just solid. Like, look, you barely have anything on the bottom here. And this thing is a tank. I don't have any flex, no give, no nothing. It's just very solid. So no, the Lamzu Maya is not a product for me, right? You all know I like bigger mice, but there's no denying this is solid. If you want that small to right on that line of the medium shape, this could be a win. It's definitely more towards small than medium. But again, this is one to put on your radar here. So out of the three products we just took a look at, it was the Odin Gaming and the Vaxee that were going to get my products of the year. When I took them out of the box, I was just so excited. And I was like, holy smokes, these are amazing. Hence the reason I don't do first impression videos on my gaming gear. I want that excitement and that out of the box good feel to go away. I don't want to cover it that way. I want to use it, game with it. And again, get that raw feedback of an actual user. And talking about the Andromeda, falling apart and fraying over here. Big disappointment. As far as the Vaxee and those side buttons, it drove me nuts. Weirdly enough here, the two products that were gonna be my products of the year, they're not. The product that was never on my list takes the cake out of all of them.